Senator, welcome back to the program here.
Our Solicitor General, new to Texas, is a law professor, sharp guy, and you notice he had a different style. He knew his stuff, very well prepared, more conversational, less formal. I think the justices liked him. They didn't cut him off, they didn't let him make his case, and so we're optimistic where this case is going to go.
Well, social media companies, they argue that Texas, can't tell the New York Times what opinion pieces to publish. It can't tell Fox News, who to interview either. And the same is true with Facebook and these other companies. They can't be told what information to disseminate. What's your reaction to that argument?
Yeah, that's their story. They're trying to cloak themselves in the First Amendment when ironically they are the ones who are squelching First Amendment speech. Just like your cell phone provider can't cut you off because of your politics, the power company can't deny you service because of your religion. These guys are common carriers. They're the only game in town. That's the new public square. People are going to be discussing your stories, as you know, on social media. That's where people go to hash it out. And right now, we have a handful of big tech oligarchs that have a stranglehold on speech in America, and that's not right. So we're on the side of the First Amendment. I think we're going to win.
Do you think the justices bought that argument?
It was interesting. So it was sort of cut both ways, left and right. Some of the Republican appointees seemed to like the bill, some didn't. Some of the Democrats were on both sides. I think we're going to win, at least initially, on the point that they tried to block the whole law before there was even any kind of a trial. And so that means they've got to show the law is unconstitutional in every possible application. They're going to lose that. I think we win this round, the law goes back and takes effect, and we come back for some discovery. What the tech companies do not want is discovery. They don't want to have to open up and shine a light on what they've been doing. When people see that, I think we're going to win.
Were you hoping for a ruling from the Supreme Court or for the Supreme Court to push this back down to lower courts?
I expect they're going to rule on this preliminary injunction and send it back to the lower courts.
As the Texas law is drafted, correct me if I'm wrong here, does it apply to conservative social media platforms like Parler, Gab, and Truth Social?
So it applies, it's not about their viewpoint, it's about their size. So any user over 50 million. So when this bill was drafted, a lot of folks saw Twitter as being on the left. Now with Elon Musk, folks think maybe it's on the right, but this bill is about the number of users you have, not about your politics. We're not for censorship from the left or from the right.
Let me ask you about that. The bill goes back to Twitter suspending Donald Trump's account after January 6th, after the insurrection, but the market seems to have fixed itself in this case. Well, with Elon Musk buying Twitter, is that not enough to let the market work as it is?
Well, the timing of the president's removal was interesting, but this goes before that. You remember Representative Scott Sanford, the pastor, of course, in McKinney, and a state rep, tried to post about his church's Easter sunrise service. Facebook blocked that. We tried to post about common sense legislation that they didn't like, and they blocked us. So we've been working on this for a long time, and it's very clear that they are trying to be the gatekeepers of free speech. And in America, they don't get to do that.
If the justices strike down this Texas law, will you try to fix it next session?
Yes, we're going to carefully read their opinion. I think we're going to win, but if we lose, we'll read the opinion, we'll come back with another one.
Let's talk about voter integrity for a moment here. You led the bill to replace something called ERIC, the Electronic Registration Information Center. It keeps the voter rolls clean.
Yes.
Texas doesn't have anything right now. Does that concern you for the 2024 election, that the rolls might not be as clean? There might be duplicate voters in some counties?
Only in the last few years did we pass a law requiring Texas to be in an interstate cross-check system to see if folks are voting in New York and Texas at the same time. For example, at the time there were two. Texas joined one based in Kansas. That one went away, leaving ERIC as the only game in town. There have been concerns about security with ERIC, about some of the other requirements that ERIC puts on states. So the bill we passed says Texas must participate in a cross-check system and has to meet these criteria. ERIC can't meet those criteria, so Texas and other states are getting together to build their own system. So there's going to be a good solution.
Is Texas breaking its own law right now by not having any system in place?
Well, the law requires we have a system, but it has to meet certain criteria, and ERIC does not meet that criteria.
I do want to clarify that thing. Something is already in the works right now to replace ERIC. What's happening right now?
Yes. Many states are forming memorandums of understanding in between the states. So you're state X, I'm state Y, we're going to compare notes, see who's registered in both places. So a number of groups have popped up where states are getting together. It's federalism, so states are going to get together and they'll do their own comparison to see who's registered in both states.
When will that be in place, do you think?
Well, hopefully in time for this next election cycle.
For the 2026 or 2024?
Well, hopefully for 2026, obviously it's coming in, but even for 24, states have been talking about this, they've been comparing notes. There's a lot of data we can look at to see where people are registered to vote. So ERIC is not the only way to do it. It's one way, but it's not the only way.
But by November, do you think there might be some system in place to check?
I'm optimistic there will be.
And the Secretary of State's office is doing that.
They and many other states are
And
working
the other
on it.
SOSs.
That's exactly right.
I want to ask you about the controversial decision from Alabama. The state Supreme Court there ruled that embryos are children. What's your reaction to that?
Texas law is very clear on this. You may recall I carried the heartbeat bill in 2021. The heartbeat bill specifically exempts in vitro fertilization. So I'm not sure about Alabama law, and I haven't read that case, but Texas law is clear. In vitro fertilization is not covered by the heartbeat law, by abortion statutes in Texas. That's important.
Any reconsideration of that now after this Alabama ruling?
You mean reconsideration to
About
include
IVF?
embryos? Oh, I don't see Texas moving that direction at all. In vitro fertilization, obviously, it's a process for folks who are trying to have children, and it's a difficult process, and that is not what the aim of Texas pro-life laws are. No, I don't see us going that way at all.
Senator, thank you.
Thanks for having me.